Come on in. Yeah. Let's see if I can get this on this on my phone. Yeah. So it's gonna be get some therapy before you get you a man or a woman. Get you some therapy. All right. So yeah, y'all try to get y'all some therapy out there, man. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah. So what I want to say was that a lot of us, man, uh, myself included, need therapy sometimes. Have probably gotten a little therapy, right? And it's needed, especially when you're talking about serious relationships and love and all that. When you have past traumas, things in your life that you probably have went through, faced that a lot of people probably just overlook, and that that environment where you probably still live in that, those relationships seem normal. They seem like it was really true love, but it was not. And now you carry around this hurt, blaming this one, that one. It is not to say that, excuse me, it's not to say that certain people are not to blame per se, or should take any accountability for things that happen to you, but we also have to take accountability for the things that happen to us. We allow or invite it to happen to us, especially, right? Especially that. Um, I saw a video recently where it was, and people seen this video where, what's it called, a daily rap crew, a daily up crew. They're from New York, and they have women coming on the show. A lot of guys, black men from New York, they have black women coming to shows, talking about issues concerning black men during this time generation, and other issues too, dealing with that and the whole social aspect. And there was this black woman who was like, "Oh, love, and I'll sacrifice this when I love this man, and I did this and I did that, and he didn't have this, and he treated me so bad and stuff." And people mentioned how, yeah, she was in pain and she was hurt. And then you wonder, well, how many men she has tried to date or dated, carrying around so much hurt, or so many guys that she probably have, because of what this one guy did. And this is what we're getting at, that people need to be careful, especially women, especially men too, but especially that first person that you gave your body to. All right, you need to be very careful, and why you gave that person your body, because you might find yourself having a liking for a certain type of individual woman. You might find yourself being a whoremonger. Like, why I just gotta just these hoes all the time? Because probably the first woman that you laid with was a harlot, was a hoe. We've all been through. You like, man, why just these hood? Uh, and then, man, we could eventually kind of break that and have variety, but we'll also find ourselves kind of dealing with, like, yeah, we have a preference for a certain woman over time. But with women, that one guy, not only will she have a preference, her attitude, her habits, behavior, all that will be based off of what the imprint this first guy left. And I saw the video left a comment, and I'm add on to the comment, but I left. I said, well, I wonder that guy that she did all this stuff, that did all this to her. I said he probably was someone that the males in her family told her to stay away from. Even probably her female relatives said, "Hey, stay away from this guy. He's no good. He's doing this. Stay away from him." But she probably only seen that type of relationship through in her life. She's never seen a black man and a black woman have a healthy relationship. That too as well. So, and daddy issues as well. Her daddy wasn't probably there. So she's the guy's closest thing to her dad. She's still trying to find that love that her dad never gave her, like this guy who doesn't show her love. And that's, she want to, hopefully he can turn around and give her that. He reminds her of that. Certain things he might say and do. there's usually that. And I'll talk to women. I actually helped out certain women who admitted, like, yeah, that's what it is. And one in particular, she didn't really like to call herself a victim. She like to say call herself a victor because she recognized at that time that she played a role into being with such an abusive men. There was two guys that she had a relationship with that were very abusive, and she wanted help with that to say, hey, what, there's a reason to this, and she has to break away from that if she wants to have a successful relationship. And it could take months, it could take years, but she was already at a good start because she didn't have any children, she was young, and she noticed that she played a part in it. She took some accountability in it, right? And she has issues, but you have women who will just go off and what about this, and I've done that, and this guy did this, and never take accountability that I probably picked the wrong kind of guy. I gave my best years to the worst guy. And now I'm basing my future off the past. And they say you don't know where you're headed unless you know where you've been. So you got to deal with that. So you could vent and scream and yell and throw things. And that's why I'm single, because these niggas ain't known this. This nigga, from one dude, all these niggas ain't on nothing. All these dudes will abuse you, even though you see women who are in healthy relationships. But that can't be me. That can't be real. There has to be a catch. And this also applies to trans women as well. I've seen it early on when me and my wife got together. There was a woman who could not believe that I was openly trans attracted, that my wife had met my family, that my wife knows we had to show video proof. And even then, she was like, but in her mind, in her world, her reality, that's all she's seen. She never seen a man openly come out and say he likes what he likes and is not afraid of that or not afraid of it anymore. So, they say images shape your reality. So people, that's impossible. That can't happen based off of what happened to them or what didn't happen to them. And they would try to curse, or without thinking about it, others' progress in that. But I don't get too deep in that. But this is, when we see this. So what I'm saying with that, ones have to get therapy and deal with that and say, okay, this is why this has happened to me. And this is why these things keep happening to me, because I didn't deal with my own traumas and issues. There's a reason why I have these kind of guys or kind of gals in my life. So without that, it's going to be a revolving door. So, and they say it could take months, it can take years to heal. But by that time, and this is the catch with it, getting therapy is good, it's great. But by that time you have probably gotten the therapy, the good brother who will be good for you that you probably rejected, he's probably not going to be there. Or all the other guys are married. So that's why I say for women have to be even more careful when it comes to that. Because while you're getting yourself together, dude might not have time for that. But we have to have some proof to see that you have gotten yourself together, that you're not just looking for opportunity. Basically, you got me on the phone and you with Tyrone. You feel me? Like still chasing after what you're familiar with, still going back to that comfort zone. And you have to show and prove that. And guys have to vet these women too. But the days we're coming into, guys ain't gonna really have time to do all that. You just have to, if you're around, get with the dudes programs, get with it. But why it could be such a detriment. And I've known women who were just gotten up to the point where there was no point of no return. They were so scarred to the point where every time you see them in the store, they got shades on. They can't look certain people in the eye because they never know if you heard about what they used to do, or if you're that guy that used to do it with them, and they don't want people to recognize them. And I would be like, oh, such and such, whatever, yeah, why? And she said, yeah, well, I'm not trying to give nobody away, but there was someone who used to be a part of the church as I used to attend, and when I was younger. Man, we see them in the store and everything, but I was why they have these shades? Why I asked my mom, I said, why would they have these shades on? And rest in peace, Mom. And Mom was like, well, they was out there doing stuff, woo. but they changed their life around. And it started kind of, it don't make sense like it makes sense now, but I kind of go, okay, all right, yeah. So a lot of people wasn't, cool with that or hip with that or whatever, or understood that, but also the people who do understood, like your reputation follows you too. Okay, come on out here back with us. Are you really out the streets? Are you still for the streets, or are you still not for the streets? People going to, look at you like you're always going to be that. Because some people feel like, hey, once a hoe, always a hoe. Once a pimp, always a pimp. Once a whatever the case, right? So a lot of people that too, and far as people who recognize them, say, hey, come, let's come do it again. Let's go do it. Oh, and and don't want to have any encounters with people like that, especially if they was doing it in the same city that they live in. They don't want to uh, go with that. So ones have to be very careful. Ones might seem like you might seem like you're 24 forever right now, but 24 goes like that. And women feel like they have options because they can sleep with all these men, but don't think that those options are going to run out for the guys who really wanted to take you seriously. And based off of your reputation, based off of having an OnlyFans, from all these things that uh, was basically as a result of trauma and acting out, is now don't want to deal with that. So not only you are traumatized mentally by what happened to you, you also your videos is everywhere. So not only are you able to relive that, the man that you're with is able to relive that. That's why I say I highly, and there's guys who agree with me too. If you take a woman who does have a past, to make sure that she um, has went further away from her past, that she has progressed or made uh, things, she's done things different. She has made changes. There's people that can vouch and say, yeah, I remember when she used to do that. She's not on that no more the past 3 years, blah, blah. I even helped her get herself together. She does, because you wonder why she don't dress like that anymore, or like to tell you she used to dress, whatever. And she doesn't have any videos that can still be viewed, that can be assessed, all of that, because the mental health, her mental health is one thing, but also as a man, your mental health is something as well. And feeling like, you're uh, something that you value, you're being reminded every day that, hey, it's not that valuable. She wouldn't do that with you, or she's worn out. She can't do this for you. How that can affect you. That so many men can get access to your wife or to your woman, because even a concubine, it can affect as concubine, but especially your wife can easily get access to her in that way. Who had access to her and who can access to her in that way, and other people, and what that could mean uh, for you as a protector, as a provider, as a guardman, a husbandman, what that could do to you mentally. Uh, like I said, but if you a guy who like to use women to get the men you want, like I said, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to I'm not insecure. I'm talking to men who have vasopressin, have testosterone, and also who have testosterone, have vasopressin, and release a good amount of it, and who love women, and who identify as heterosexual. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And see the value of women, all right? Especially the value in a wife, and what is a wife and what is a husband, who at least understand that part. And the role. So yeah, but to definitely I don't recommend that. But like I said, that's your decision, But I I don't recommend men taking on a woman who has not only that kind of past, but type of footage and videos, and that can easily be accessible. And when you met her, she didn't. Before she met you, she didn't take any strides to be different. She needed you to know her to. Well, I'm going to change now, but she didn't make any change before she got into your life, and you have to be mindful of that, okay? Because they say don't save her because she don't want to be saved. And I say, yeah, that's true, but don't save no one who doesn't want to be saved, because they have to save themselves first in order to be saved. They have to accept the truth about themselves and about their past and about their present and what they deserve and what they're probably not going to get based off of that. They have to be real with that, and then, okay, they can be saved. As John 3:16 say, whoever believeth in him shall what? Shall not perish but have everlasting life. So in order for you to be saved, you have to accept Christ. You have to accept Christ. You have to believe and accept Christ. For in order for a man to accept a woman with such a past, she has to repent from her ways and try to get away from that as much as she can, as much as she can, as much as she could possibly do to rid herself away from that past to become a new creature in Christ and to be a woman with an honorable title and to live up to that. She has to accept that and has to move on from that, and that can take a lot of soul searching. Like I say, once you have those soul ties to that man, and that can mean, which women post, that can mean a whole lot um, with that. But women have to be understanding of that. That you know what, and like I said, by the time, like, yeah, it might be too late. It might be too late. So there's a lot of men who would love to have sex with me, but a lot of men who would want to marry me based off of my past and my present right now. All right, whether you have children, that could play a factor. Many abortions you've had, that could play a factor. How many partners you had, and then on top of that, if you have all the above plus an OnlyFans, plus escort and service, etc., etc. It's a lot of things that plays a part in that. So, like, women, they could judge us based off of the things that we don't have and we do have. To say, I don't want a man like that. Men can also do the same thing. How can this benefit me as a man? So, men, how can this man benefit me? What kind of car does he drive? What kind of car does he have? How tall is he? How much does he weigh? Etc. etc. What's his sign? Blah, 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 blah. Is he known to be a giver? Whatever the case, how can it benefit her? How many children does he have? But as men, we have to look out for ourselves and say, well, okay, how's being, especially in our 30s. And when we're in our 30s, like the dude said, and I've realized too, when we're in our 30s, we have access to 25, 35-year-old women. Okay? So we don't have to wait for you to get yourself together in your 30s and 40s. And ones of us especially married because we have women younger than you trying to get at us. All right? Your age trying to get at us, even sometime older. All right? But when we was younger, we had to establish ourselves, so we couldn't get girls who was around our age. It was hard for especially the good brother to do that for the most part. To get a whole bunch of women that's you're in your 20s and in their 20s, and they really want something serious with you, right? They really couldn't do that. When we get in our 30s and we establish something for ourselves, and we know our strengths, our weaknesses, and we have 20-year-old, 30s hitting you up if you want to be bothered, all right? But yeah, y'all have to really be careful. But that's what you have to get and seek out therapy. Get therapy before you try to be in a relationship with someone, and get somebody that's you can relate to. And that's why you find yourself hurt with this particular guy that you equate to all guys, because women are meant to be with one guy, right? That's how you're made. That the reason why you have this feeling about men, and particularly black men, and what you can do to change that and to get that sorted out. And you have to get therapy in order to change that, in order to get that. All right. So yeah, that's basically it. Because a white guy ain't gonna change it. A dude with a 6-pack and a bunch of money is not going to change or take away that hurt. You have to, because men are going to make you sad. Men are going to make you happy sometimes. But you have to get yourself straight before. And this is why women would marry younger and men would marry older, because the reason why I'm saying now, because you have ones who in their prime years was getting smashed up, figuratively and mentally and physically. And now, if you get to the point where you realize that, it's like, if a dude wants to have children with his primary with a cis woman, or a dude want to do certain things with his career, you might be too set in your ways. Because when people you get in your third like me, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not trying to argue with you women about nothing. If you're not with it, okay, well, I ain't got time to argue with you. So it's with women. Women get in your ways. You want to, I want it this way, I'm that, because that's what you're used to. And women usually get to that point early on in life. Like, okay, when she's get about what 12 or 13 or 14, 15, 17, she, whatever culture she's in, that's just the culture. She's not going to really hear anything else. Especially she's in her 20, 25, 30. There's exceptions to the rule. So one might look at, your wife, she's 30s and that. It's exception to the rule. Most women are not that exception. Most women are not willing to do that in their 30s. And if they are, like I said, the guy they're going after is probably married, and they claim they don't want to share him, right? They don't want to do that. So, yeah, but that's all I want to say. Y'all be good. Y'all be up, and I could have got more into this, but, seek out therapy, get your mind right, and then you'll be able to get, the person, hopefully, that you want, and that can respect you. But first, you got to respect yourself and take accountability for things, the choices that you made, and the man and the men that you chose to be with, because nobody's putting a gun in your head and say, hey, marry me. Nobody's putting a gun in your head and say, hey, let's go on a date. You must go on a date. So if you took a conscious decision to deal with such a person, as they say, birds of a feather flock together, like, what they say, like attract like, darks attract dark. So for real, so that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Yeah, James Speed wanted to say, man, y'all be good and get your therapy, and I'm out.